I'd like to invite Andy Macias back again to talk about one of his other projects. This one is Drive Away Cholangio. Andy, I look forward to hearing about this particular project also.
Again, I'm Andy Macias, and I mentioned previously Clinical Trials Explorer is a program that's about to roll out. I'm going to mention two other programs that are on the street. One is Cholangio Connect, and the other one is Drive Away Cholangio. I'll start with Cholangio Connect. Reflecting on our experience, I can still feel the anxiety, the fear, the sadness, and the confusion, probably a lot of the same emotions and feelings that everyone in this room at some time has experienced. When we started our journey, there were so few knowledgeable people to consult that it left us feeling both isolated and powerless. You know, Sarah typically would have just enough energy and emotional bandwidth just to make it through the day, while I had the responsibility of scheduling appointments, researching treatment protocols, and investigating clinical trials. I was going to do anything to get Sarah better, but I too was left anxious, exhausted, overwhelmed, and confused. Sarah and I needed someone to inspire hope. We needed someone to guide us. Sarah was a newly diagnosed patient, and we needed emotional support from someone who knew cholangiocarcinoma. We needed help from someone who had already walked in our shoes, someone to lift the fog that blinded us and allowed us to fight with vision, clarity, and hope. We needed someone that allowed us to fail when needed and who was waiting for us when we got up again. What we needed was a mentor. So these are the reasons I started Cholangio Connect. I was aware of other mentoring networks like Immerman Angels, and there's several other ones, and I even signed up for Immerman Angels. But Cholangio is dwarfed in size in populations of other cancer communities, and I felt like we were getting lost in their system. So I figured there had to be a better way. I believe cholangiocarcinoma patients need mentors who they themselves are cholangio survivors, current patients, caregivers, or family members with firsthand experience with this unique type of cancer. And the more I reflect on our experience and the more I learn of how complicated cholangio really is, I'm convinced that if we are to affect change, we need to harness the collective knowledge and experiences of the entire community. We need to ease the burden on the same handful of cholangiocarcinoma survivors that newly diagnosed patients repeatedly contact. I think we should also tap into the knowledge of those survivors that don't necessarily show up on Google searches. With the full support of the foundation, I created Cholangio Connect to be a laser-focused mentoring program comprised solely of patients, caregivers, and mentors with firsthand experience in cholangiocarcinoma. It's my hope that as our volunteer mentor population grows, Cholangio Connect will have the ability to connect patients and caregivers with mentors of their same age, gender, geographic location, treatment history, genetic profile, and even their type of cholangiocarcinoma. Patients and caregivers also have the option of choosing a mentor based on their socioeconomic status, their educational status, whatever it is that the patient would like in a mentor, they will have the ability to use that criteria. Please know what mentors do not do. They do not attempt to provide medical advice. That is left up to their doctors. Our mission of supporting the community should not stop if a patient loses their battle with this disease. My vision is for Cholangio Connect to possess a cadre of volunteers who have lost a loved one to cholangio and are willing to offer support to others who have recently experienced a devastating loss to this cancer. One such person stands right here. So if anything, who better to guide someone down such a path than someone who has traveled it themselves? I believe that within our lifetimes, we will have turned cholangio into a manageable chronic disease. Each one of us has the power and the ability to transform the knowledge we gain through our sorrow into hope for someone beginning their fight. So you don't have to be a doctor, a researcher, or a scientist to have a profound impact on this community in need. All you need is a heart, hope, and a drive to make a difference. So I invite you to visit the Cholangio Connect website, pull me aside in the hall, and consider volunteering your time to be a mentor. I ask that you consider helping folks in need who need hope and guidance. The next program is called Drive Away Cholangio, and this one is a lot of fun. I really enjoy this one. Throughout our cancer journey, we were the recipients of the best in human compassion. We were the beneficiaries of unwavering support from the U.S. State Department and from the U.S. military. Cancer may reside in an individual, but very soon in our fight, I realized that a team effort was essential in combating the disease. I began a practice of outreach and outpouring, and the outpouring was both immense and humbling. From the MD Anderson clinical trial team, who made our lives so much better, to our friends and family who raised tens of thousands of dollars to offset medical expenses. Members of Team Sarah were galvanized from literally across the world. Although as her husband I experienced an indescribable loss, I was uplifted by human kindness. This experience compelled me to start Drive Away Cholangio. Drive Away lets me honor not only Sarah's memory, but also to render support to the caregivers and the friends and family members of all those afflicted by cholangiocarcinoma. I started Drive Away Cholangio because I wanted to do for them what people did for us. Our foundation is faced with the challenge of raising research funding and awareness for a rare disease that comprises only about 2% of all cancers. Our population is dwarfed in size by other cancer communities. The Cholangio family is small, and unfortunately so is the federal research funding. To further complicate matters, the foundation is comprised almost exclusively of volunteers who have only a certain amount of time to devote to the organization. I believe we need a fundraising program that is scalable, does not require heavy resources to manage. I believe the foundation needs a big idea to raise money and generate awareness on a large scale. I live in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland, also known as the home of the NBA World Champs, or the Mistake by the Lake, whatever you want to call it. And I started driving this past summer. And my very first fare was an RNC staffer in town for the Republican National Convention. She noticed the Drive Away Cholangio placard that I have in my car, and the program immediately resonated with her. She took a few photos and posted this one on her Instagram and Facebook for her social circle to view. It didn't click with me at the time, but it certainly makes sense to me now, many, many Uber rides later, why she did this. Like so many other riders I've picked up, she had been impacted one way or the other by cancer. It hit home. It always hits home. Once people start talking, I quietly listen, and I'm amazed to hear their cancer stories. It reminds me that I'm not the only person bearing this cross. But by the end of the trip, I'm so honored to have just had them in my car. And in one single encounter, I've been able to earn money for cancer research, raise awareness about cholangio, and then ding, my phone bleeps and I go, it's another Uber ride I have to go pick up. So I have big dreams for Drive Away. My vision is to continuously recruit drivers to build a program so that it generates funds 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's my hope to do this on a national, if not global scale. Raising money via Drive Away Cholangio is much different than writing a check. I encourage you to try volunteering, and I think you'll find yourself getting emotionally invested in this campaign because you will not only be donating your time, but you're also putting skin in the game. Ultimately, getting people emotionally invested in Drive Away Cholangio is what I'd like to happen. So Drive Away Cholangio leverages technology, social media, and ride sharing to accomplish its mission of fundraising and raising awareness about cholangio. Volunteer drivers generate the funds and help recruit other drivers, but passengers too become ambassadors for the cause. They raise awareness about the disease by posting their Drive Away Cholangio experience in their social media feeds. The Cholangio Foundation volunteer corps is small, but one thing we do not lack is creativity and determination. So I invite you to join me on the road by contacting me on Facebook and using the hashtag #HitTheRoadCancer. Or you can email me at that email address right there. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and just pull me aside and I'll give you one of my brochures. I'll set you up with instructions on how to join. And after the first $100 you raise driving, I'll send you one of these fancy Cholangio Carcinoma Foundation shirts so you can proudly wear while you're driving. Driveway Cholangio is designed to allow people to exercise their philanthropic urge, but not have it interfere with their everyday lives. Volunteers feel good about themselves because they join a worthy cause, and the 3 to 5 hour monthly commitment is not an insurmountable obstacle because they determine when they want to volunteer. They determine when they're going to drive. All I ask is they commit to raising $50 per month for 12 consecutive months. Some drivers may decide to drive on the way home from work, while others may dedicate a few hours on the weekend. It doesn't matter where volunteers live or what language they speak. As long as a ride-sharing program exists in their location and they have access to PayPal, anyone in the world can participate. So I invite everyone listening to this presentation to like, then share the Drive Away Cholangio Facebook page. I hope this program does for us what the Ice Bucket Challenge did for ALS. Thanks.
I don't think anybody could accuse Andy of being a bystander. I think it truly is inspirational. Somebody who can just turn a loss into something so positive with such innovative ideas, and I urge you all to support one or more of those ongoing projects. Andy, I think you're doing a great job.